Hey guys, hope you're doing well. This is sort of a public service announcement, and it's a topic that I've been thinking about for a while. Whenever we as consumers are looking to buy a new product, we obviously don't have the options with us in our hands to be able to test them and compare them against each other, so we look for other ways to try to justify our purchases. One of these ways is by looking at the technical specifications of the different products, comparing them to see which one is best and which one has the highest numbers. It's reasonable and even logical to think this way, but I don't believe that it's the best way to always make your decision, and there are several reasons for this. First of all, the specifications aren't always relevant to us, and sometimes I feel like we just sort of end up looking at datasheets like a list of boxes to check, without even stopping to think if those boxes are actually important to us. And it's not just us either. Manufacturers will often seek to add features to their products that don't necessarily add value to us, but maybe those features sound cool and it makes them easier to market, or perhaps the features are unique, so none of the competitors have those features, which again makes it easier for them to sell their products. Just off the top of my head right now, I'm thinking about 8K video on smartphones. Like, someday that will be standard, sure, but do you really care about 8K video right now? And does 8K video actually look better than 4K video? I don't think so. If you look around on YouTube, you'll find plenty of comparisons between 8K and 4K video on smartphones, and I think you'll find that generally the 4K video actually looks better. On top of that, 8K video takes up a ridiculous amount of space on your phone. A 512GB phone, not even including the storage needed for the operating system, would be filled up in just 3 hours of 8K video. So, this is just my opinion, but I think that as things are right now, 8K video is one of those pointless checkbox features that smartphone manufacturers are adding onto their devices without really stopping to think, is this adding value to the customers? Generally, you'll be better off recording video at 4K, you'll save yourself a whole bunch of storage, the video will look just as good, maybe even better, and it will allow you to have higher frame rate videos, which means you can take still images out of that video and they'll be less blurry. Not to mention, the amount of people who could actually display that 8K video is few and far in between. But let's say the feature is important to you. Let's say you want your phone to have a really good camera. I know that's a feature I care about, and I'm guessing many of you guys are the same as well. So what do you look for then? Do you go with the camera that has the highest amount of megapixels? Because that's no guarantee of image quality, only resolution. I can guarantee you that if I showed you two pictures, one taken with a 12 megapixel camera and one taken with a 48 megapixel camera, you're probably not going to be able to tell the difference, and depending on the models I choose, the 12 megapixel picture might actually look better. And this brings me to my next point. Aside from us techie nerds who like to really dive in and read and learn about all these different technologies, for your average consumer, specifications can end up confusing them into thinking that something is better than something else when in reality it's not. Going back to the camera example, if you really want to look at specs, you're better off looking at the size of the sensor and the size of the pixels used in the camera of the phone. The bigger the sensor and the bigger the pixels, the more light they can capture, and generally speaking, the better the images will look. Then, when it comes to smartphones at least, you have the whole iPhone versus Android discussion, and here it makes even less sense to talk about specifications. You see, with Android, you have a countless number of manufacturers all using different hardware and then running the Android operating system, whereas Apple only makes a few models of the iPhone, so they already know exactly what kind of hardware they need in order to get the best performance out of their software, and they can also optimize their software to run on their own hardware. Which means you'll often see that on paper, their specifications might seem to be a lot lower than their Android counterparts, whereas in reality, they may end up performing the same or in some cases even better. For example, the iPhone 12 Pro Max has 6GB of RAM. The Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra that I've just ordered has 16GB of RAM. So do you think it's more than twice as good? I don't think so. Sure, maybe if you push the hardware to its absolute limit and open 200 applications at the same time, maybe the S21 Ultra would handle that better, but under normal circumstances for your average user, I don't think you're going to see any difference at all. And then there's battery. I stole this image from a battery comparison test from Mr. Who's the Boss. I hope he doesn't mind. Have a look at last year's S20 Ultra and compare it to last year's iPhone 11 Pro Max. The S20 has a significantly larger battery, and yet it dies well before the iPhone. That's because the chip used in Samsung's devices from last year, at least the Exynos version, was not particularly great. Luckily, it looks like the S21 Ultra has performed exceptionally well, in this test at least. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that they have their whole ecosystem, and they're able to get the same sort of performance with much lower specifications. So what to do then? If specifications don't tell the whole picture and may not necessarily lead to you getting the best device for you, how do you figure out what you should choose? Well, first of all, I would recommend that you make a list of all of the features that you actually care about. Then, watch reviews on the products you're considering. Not just one. You need to watch several, because nobody will be able to cover everything, and people will also have different experiences from their testing. You need a good mix of opinions to be able to weigh the positives and negatives and come to the best overall conclusion. Even better than a single review video would be to find a comparison video where you get to see two or more of the options that you're considering performing side by side. These videos are a bit harder to come by, but they will provide you with more value because you'll get to see the devices compared against each other. For example, believe me, when the S21 Ultra arrives, I'll be doing a detailed comparison video between it and the older S10 Plus to see whether or not it's an actual worthy upgrade. To close out this video, I'll give you a quote from Theodore Levitt. People don't want to buy a 1/4 inch drill. They want a 1/4 inch hole. Specifications are useful and important, but the most important thing is that the device meets your specific requirements, not that it has the best spec sheet. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like, and if you haven't already, why aren't you subscribed? Thank you guys, I'll see you next time.